Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video on divisibility. So what does this actually mean? Well, we say that a number, I'm just going to call it A. A can be any whole number I want. We say that A is divisible by B if when you divide A by this other number B, B can be any number as well, you get a whole number. That's a bit confusing. What it means is A is divisible by B if and only if A is a multiple of B. So really, when we're looking at whether one number is divisible by another, we're looking at whether that number is a multiple of the other. So we already know what multiple means. One number is a multiple of the other. A is a multiple of B if B is a factor of A, if B goes into A evenly. So let's look at an example with some actual numbers. So let's say, for example, I wanted to know, is the number 3072 divisible by 3? So that's another way of saying, is 3072 a multiple of 3? Or is 3 a factor of 3072? So what we could do, we could divide 3072 by 3 and see if the answer is a whole number. We could use a calculator to do that or do it by hand. But what we're going to look at in this video is using some quick divisibility tests to tell us whether one number is divisible by another without actually having to do any calculations. So, if I want to know whether any number, in this case 3072, is divisible by 3, all I do is go to my table and look at this row here. So what this is saying is a number is divisible by 3 if and only if the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. So the sum of the digits of 3072, first digit plus second digit plus third digit plus fourth digit, if you add them up, you get 12. We know 12 is a multiple of 3. So that means that 3072 will be a multiple of 3 because its digits add to a multiple of 3. So let's take our number 3072 and let's test if it's divisible by other numbers. So let's start at 2. So this is saying a number is divisible by 2 if and only if the number's even, meaning its last digit is 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. So of course 3072, the last digit is 2, therefore 3072 is even, so yes, it is divisible by 2. We already know that it's divisible by 3. Now, is 3072 divisible by 4? So let's look at the test for the number 4 here. So it says either the last two digits are divisible by 4 or half the number is even. So the last two digits of 3072 are 72. But we might not know if 72 is divisible by 4. That's not really an easy question to answer. Some of you may know, but some of you might not. So, at this point I'm thinking, okay, I don't know if 72 is a multiple of 4. What I can do is I can halve the number and see if I get an even number. So if I halve 3072, or divide it by 2, I get 1536. That's clearly an even number because the last digit's even. So half of 3072 is an even number, so it is divisible by 4. It turns out 72 is divisible by 4. So let's check 5. The test for whether or not it is divisible by 5 is easy. Does it end in a 0 or a 5? Of course, this one doesn't end in a 0 or 5. It ends in a 2. So this number, 3072, is not divisible by 5. That means if you did 3072 divide 5, you wouldn't get a whole number. Okay, so let's look at whether or not it's divisible by 6. So the test is just whether it's divisible by 2 and whether it's divisible by 3. Well, we know it's divisible by 2 because it's even. We know it's divisible by 3 because the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. So therefore, yes, 3072 is divisible by 6 as well. So let's check whether or not this number is divisible by 8. So to check whether it's divisible by 8, you have to look at the last 3 digits. So the last 3 digits here, 0, 7, 2. So 72 again. Is 72 divisible by 8? Yes, it is. Again, if the last 3 digits are hard for you to check, they might be like 242 or something, halve the number and see if it's divisible by 4. So we know 1,536, which is half of 3,072, that number is divisible by 4, because 36, the last 2 digits are divisible by 4. I hope I haven't confused you. I just wanted to show you 2 tests for the number 8, because it can be quite tricky to determine whether or not a number is divisible by 8. All right, let's look at the number 9. So the test is for number 9, which is here. I apologize, it wasn't written correctly. It should say the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. So we know the sum of the digits of this number is 12. 12 is not divisible by 9, so this number is not divisible by 9. If you did 3,072 divide 9, you would not get a whole number. So is this number divisible by 10? The test for 10 is easy, just if its last digit is 0. Clearly, here the last digit is 2, so it's not divisible by 10. And the last test here is for whether or not the number is divisible by 12. So it has to be divisible by both 3 and 4. So yes, it is divisible by 3. It is divisible by 4. We've already checked that. So therefore it must be divisible by 12. So there is a rule here. If a number is divisible by another number, it's divisible by any factor of that number. So what I mean by that is, if a number is divisible by 12, it will be divisible by any factor of 12. It will be divisible by 6, divisible by 4, divisible by 3, divisible by 2. The other way doesn't work. If a number is divisible by 3, it doesn't mean it will be divisible by 12. So just keep that in mind, because that is a slightly hard rule to comprehend. All right, please ask me if there are any questions. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thanks for watching and have a great day.